All right, so some, so especially when I was idling. So I decided I'd go ahead on and put the gauges on and add a little refrigerant. And I figured I would do a little video plus show some people at the truck show that might be interested the gauges and how they work, because a lot of people had questions, not really questions, but comments, hey, thank you for doing those other videos and so on and so forth. So I want to show you a couple. It's early here. It's like, between 8 and 8:30. It's not very hot outside, and I just turned the system on. I do not have the high side hooked up. The reason I'm not going to hook up the high side is because my system is working, the way it should be. It just may be low on Freon, which means there's probably a leak, a little small leak somewhere. But my philosophy is, if you're traveling, do the least unless you have a problem. If you have a problem and you need to check it deeper, then yeah, go in. It's your access to your access and opportunity to being able to fix something if it creates a bigger problem. So what I mean by that is, these don't screw on, these snap on, and remember this thing here. This thing here that I'm touching, this is the dryer, right? And on this particular dryer, the low side connector is on the dryer, but the low side connector is always, of course, on the low side. Here on this vehicle, the low pressure switch it screws into the dryer as well. This is the high side connector on this vehicle. Now, inside of those the connectors, there's a little valve, and when you push this on, it pushes it in. On this one, it looks like it's the same little valve that's on your the nipple on your tire where you put air in your tire. And then on this one, it looks a little different. But sometimes when you take it off, they start leaking. So ordinarily, I wouldn't, if the system is working, I wouldn't even put AC in it until I got back home, because I don't want to take the chance of being without AC. So because if that starts leaking, I don't have the time to go and fix it. Take time away from the truck show or whatever to go and fix it. Might be, I don't know if you can see down in there, but it's already dripping. It's already making water, and this line over here is already sweating. And my gauge pressure is less than 30. Now, a lot of times they say, oh man, you need to have like 45 PSI when you're using R134 in your car or whatever. Yeah, that's not really wrong, but it also goes by, what is the temperature outside? How hot is the car running? How hot is the water? How hot is your condenser? Okay, so the condenser is down in there next to the radiator. And if you sit and you idle for a long time, it's harder for the condenser and the radiator to discharge the heat, because only the fan of the vehicle is discharging the heat. So if you have electric fans, you'll notice once your car gets up to a certain temperature, you hear those fans come on, blowing hard and everything. If you've got the fan that actually is screwed to the front of the engine of the car or the truck or whatever, then the way those work is, when the temperature gets hot, the fan gets more traction, if you will. It's always spinning, but as things get hotter, then the fan gets stronger. It's some type of thermal clutch or something like that they have in there. So I am going to add a little bit of Freon. Now, I like these. I told y'all I like these better than the can clamps. And I was all hot to get the can clamp, but every other time you use it, sometimes every time you use it, it leaks at the clamp. You always want to make sure you got your gasket in there, and down in there, see that little piercing needle in there. You want to make sure that that's screwed all the way back, so when you screw the can on, it doesn't start to pierce it prematurely. So I've got that. I've got this all the way back. So I'm gonna have to set the phone down here for a second. Let me see. I'll let y'all look at my ugly mug. All right. You can at least look at a horror movie while I do this. Boom! Another stick. Alright. So now I'm piercing it. So I felt it go in. I'll make sure all my little connections everywhere is all, tight. All right, now. I usually put liquid in. When you're putting in air conditioning, refrigerant, if you come off the top of the can, you're more or less putting in the gas, and it'll fluctuate back and forth. But there's some systems that'll tell you put in the gas or put in the liquid. Like I was working on a system on one of my rentals, and it's got that new high pressure refrigerant in there, and the AC guy said with that you have to turn the can upside down, then tell you that you have to put it in. You have to put the liquid in. So again, not an AC guy. Limited knowledge, just trying to shed a little bit I got. All right, so let's flip y'all back around so y'all can watch this gauge. All right, so we adding a little Freon. You see the needle go up? Now I don't have it wide open, I just have it cracked. And if you overcharge your system, then it won't cool as well as if it's a sweet spot, in other words. So if it doesn't have enough of a charge, it won't cool well. If you overcharge it, it won't cool well. And plus, R134, which is pretty much the refrigerant that they put in your auto air conditioning and your refrigerators and freezers in your home, it has a lot of head pressure. So if you're in a place that's extremely hot, you're in a city a big city with a lot of concrete, a lot of blacktop, they store a lot of energy, a lot of heat energy, and it's kind of better to run it a little low than to be too high. If you're not a super, if you're not a real good AC guy, to really dial it in, I would rather be a couple of points low than to be too high. All right, I'm pretty well satisfied with that. Pretty well satisfied with that. So that's about a 15-point jump there. And we'll see how it does. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. It's about a 15-point jump or a 13-point jump, really. Somewhere up in there at this particular temperature. Now, later on today, when it gets hotter, this thing's going to be probably up at 45, 50. And I may regret going all the way up to 40 at this cooler outside temperature. So, but that's basically the deal. See if I've forgotten anything. No, I don't think I did. So your high side line, when you touch it, it'll be hot, right? And your low side line should be cold when the system is running, and of course it also should be sweating, which this one is. So we'll see if that does it. Yes, sir. I'll be in just a second. Go and eat some breakfast, y'all. So love you for free. A lucha continua every time.